Hi everyone, welcome back to a new interview for the Mochalunt series, the World Championship of Abstract Games for national teams. Today we have Etan Ilfeld. Welcome, Etan.
Hey,
Is
great to be here. I love what you
uh,
guys are doing. We'll talk more about that in a sec. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks.
he's a captain of the Team England. He's also organizer of the Mind Sports Olympiad. You might have heard that about it. One of the biggest board game competition in the world. But I guess you will talk about it later. Um, I guess we can introduce ourselves quickly. Well, me and Cesco, and then we leave the space to Ethan. So I am a chemist, and I'm passionate about board games. I started playing chess since I was a kid, and then I found out about Hive, Go, and many other games. And I like to stream and organize events when I can. I actually fell in love with like I decided I want to go this way after I came to the Mind Sports Olympiad for the first time 3 years ago, and then we organized Cesco organized the Abstracta Symposium in Italy. Uh, so I thought was pretty cool. This is my job now. Cesco, you wanna
Yes,
go?
thank you, Frasco. Yeah, I'm Cesco Reale, Swiss and Italian, and I have organized for 12 years the Italian Festival of Mathematical Games, and I collaborate since also even more years with the Swiss Museum of Games. I have created and coordinated this event that you maybe can see, the Le Château des Jeux, the game castle. It's the annual festival of open doors of the Swiss Museum of Games. And then I have written some article. I'm active also in the board game studies community. And yes, so, and then yes, I organized this Abstracta Symposium that I hope to organize soon again. It was just before the pandemics.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's all. So Etan, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. So first of all, yeah. So my name is Etan Ilfeld, and I've been the chief organizer of the Mind Sports Olympiad. I love Francesco's T-shirt. He's representing them so nicely. Um, um, since 2010. So quite some time now, and I love it. It's something I'm very passionate about. I got into games through chess. I used to play chess competitively, and I really love MSO's kind of, I guess, like multi-gaming um, ethics, I guess you could say, where it tries to encourage everyone to learn new games. And that's part of what the Pentamind is about. You try and master a lot of different games, but the idea in general is to learn new games. There's so many great games out there. And I love also what you guys are doing with this new experimental teams abstract games league, which obviously I'm playing with England for, where we get to learn new games all the time. And I think that's wonderful. I'll plug, by the way, if anyone wants to learn more about Mind Sports Olympiad, there's a really good documentary on our YouTube channel called Pentamind, and it's about the Pentamind, and it's free, and it won like best documentary at the Gen Con Film Festival a couple of
Wow.
years ago, and Dario De Toffoli, who's one of our champions, he's also featured in that
Mhm.
documentary, and he reminds me a bit of you, Francesco, because he was a chemist as well, and
I know, I
Yes.
know.
yeah, there's a
and,
sequence in that movie for how he decides to abandon chemistry
yes.
and
Yeah.
build games, and he's devoted his life
Uh,
to games.
we have another
Yes.
Italian chemist that
Uh,
is very well known in
yeah.
the
Cosimo.
world of games. Yes, Cosimo Cardellicchio.
Hmm, great guy.
Yes,
I think
yes. He's a
chemistry.
he's a very strong twixt player, and he's also an expert about one of the experts about Alex Randolph. Randolph. Yes.
I think chemistry is a
Mhm.
big game itself. Like one of the reasons why I like chemistry, I think it was because there was a lot of little puzzles that you could solve, and it reminded me a lot the way I play chess, I think, in a way. So
yeah, talking about chemistry,
I did physics for my undergraduate. That was my bachelor's.
Okay.
A combination of math and physics, so double major
Excellent.
in the States. So, but yeah, certainly these things they come in well. I mean, it's interesting. Chemistry to me has always seemed like something where you have to memorize a lot of things, whereas physics is more first principles. So, which I quite liked. I don't think I've ever been that good at chemistry per se. You know, to me, it feels like if it were a game, well, it's not you have to memorize that much, but you know, in terms of games, now maybe I'm going to make a fool of myself with this analogy, but Scrabble is a game where you have to memorize a lot. There's a very big rule base, you know. Whereas I guess you know, physics is so maybe Scrabble is like chemistry. I don't know. Maybe it is like physics. Maybe very basic, and then it builds up, and you get.
Go is more mathematics, I would say.
Huh?
Mathematics. Go
is mathematics. Yes, actually, you're right. Sure. Math is absolutely right. Math is higher than physics in terms of principles. Definitely, for math you get physics, chemistry, and then biology and so on. Right? But,
talking about chemistry, I just wanted to add one thing that some years ago, one of my workshops in the Festival of Science in Genoa was giochimicando. That is a pun in Italian between giochi, that means games, and chimica, that means chemistry. And it was a big, giant game about chemistry in which you had, so team game, in which you have each team has some atoms, other small balls with different colors. So each color identifies an element. And then you have to put your ball on the table and then create with the existing atoms some molecules that are in your card. So you have objectives, and then you have also questions about chemistry, and you earn points, etc., and you earn new balls, etc., etc. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, there are a few like that. It's pretty nice. Okay, so
going back to MSO, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you started in MSO, and then I think you became more and more important because other people, I think, left. Is that correct?
Sure. So I came to MSO, I guess, quite a while after it began. It started in 1997 as a very big event, and then I think it struggled a little bit a few years afterwards. It had like some really big events, but still very strong Pentamind competitions. Obviously, one of the most famous Pentamind champions is Demis Hassabis, who won it most of the early years. A 5-time champion.
Five times, yes.
Yeah, and now Andres and Ankush are very close to matching that. Yes. We'll see when that happens. Yes. But I came. It was I believe it was 2008 to play some chess, and I really enjoyed it. And I saw these other games, so I went and played some of them and learned them, and just loved this opportunity of learning new games. And then I became a volunteer, and I was quite involved with the committee. And in 2010, it was going to be canceled. The venue fell through, and I basically volunteered to try and organize it at the last minute and find a venue, which we did. And I was living above the Soho Theatre, which is a theatre in London. And they let us use part of their space, and spillover events would actually run in my living room, believe it or not. So we had a few events in my living room above. So it was a very good event, and
excellent.
But it was quite funny to combine with most of this theater below with its different rooms. And, that was the first year, and I guess I got the bug, and it's a lot of work, but I love it. And since then, we just kept going from strength to strength. I ended up taking over the company. The people who were running it, they decided to retire, and now I guess it's my responsibility, and it's both obviously a big challenge, but it's also something that I really enjoy. And during the pandemic, we had this physical event had to be paused, so we ran it online, which has been really interesting. And now next month, I know I'm going to see both of you. We're going to have it for the first time again in person after 3 years of a hiatus. So it's very exciting to get to see people again, and it's just a really magical event with so many different tournaments and so many wonderful people like yourselves. So it's really exciting. Obviously, when we talk about my team in a bit, we'll get to mention they're all people that I met through the Mind Sports Olympiad, and that's also a really cool thing. I've made a lot of really great friends, and it's enriched my life in so many ways. And I'm constantly learning new things. I'm not very good at necessarily mental calculations, but because it's something that we run, I'll sometimes try and learn more about that. And recently I learned how to do like the day of the week calculation. So if you give me a birth date, I can calculate the day of the week. I can, I'll do a demo right now for you right now. Well, give me one of your birthdays, and let's see. Hopefully, it will work.
Let's. If Frasco, you go. You can.
So I tell you the date, and you tell me the day of the week, right?
Yeah. I need the years.
31st August 92.
Okay. Cool.
I think there were Olympics in Barcelona at that time.
If it's wrong, we'll cut it in the video, and then we add the correct one.
Monday?
Yes, it was Monday.
Excellent.
Hey, no need to do any video editing. Hey, this is if everybody's watching. This is all one take.
One cut.
That's right. Hitchcock did one of the first films, Rope, where he tried to film it with as few takes as possible. And back then, film had a maximum length, so you couldn't do a take longer than 15 minutes or something. So, but he was able to do the whole film, I think, in 4 takes, basically. If you ever see Rope, that was one of the first. So film trivia, and then I did. Right? I did study some film. I did a master's in film as well. And there's a really good film, Victoria, by the way, which the whole film is shot in 1 take, which is pretty amazing.
Wow.
Actually, recently, I think that war film was also done like that, but I think they cheated with some CGI and stuff. But anyway, yes. Nice.
So you were talking about the team. Do you want to introduce the team?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I want to say it's great to put a team, and the fact that I'm the captain of England is interesting because, as you can hear, I have an American accent. I also grew up in Israel, so I actually have 3 passports. It's quite funny.
Wow.
What does it mean to represent a country? I don't know, but I'm also a British citizen. Very proud to be one, and I happen to be captaining Team England, and we've put together I think a really strong team, and the most important part of it is everybody wants to have fun, and so it's 5 of us, me, and I try and play, let's say, every other round, more or less. And then we've got, I guess, the regulars. We've got James Heppel, who is a Pentamine world champion, and he does very well in that documentary that I mentioned. If anybody happens to go and watch
we have seen it.
Yeah, I did watch it. Yeah.
And then we've got Alan Decker. So hold on. So James, I should say, obviously a great games player. Alan Decker, also a great games player, also a Pentamine world champion. And,
also yes.
So both of them are programmers. More than that, but geniuses. First of all, I should say. I think everybody's a genius in there. We've got Martin Hamer, who's also a Pentamine world champion, and is also brilliant.
Wow.
So we got three different people that are Pentamine world champions, and Martin also. He was recently on The Chase, by the way. If you've ever seen that trivia game where. Do you know about this? They have it in many countries where there's somebody's really good at trivia and he tries to catch you to be better than you, and if he catches your team, then you don't win money. Anyway, he was on that
Chase.
Recently on The Chase, and he won. So that's quite exciting. But a very good games player. Also, they're all really good sports, I have to say, which I think is quite true of pretty much all the Pentamine world champions. With a lot of curiosity. And then we've got one of the strongest female players at the Pentamine, who's Natasha Reagan, who's also a very strong chess player, and also abstracts game player. And she, by the way, is also brilliant. She co-published a book called I think it's Game Changer, I believe.
The one about Alpha Zero, yeah.
That's right, about Alpha Zero.
Oh, wow.
Where she and Matthew Sadler, they're both the co-authored that book.
This book.
Oh,
Game Changer, and that book has been reviewed
cool.
tremendously well. And it basically looks at how AlphaGo changed the way we play chess, how it plays chess differently, and a lot of the top players have learned to play better because of the things they've learned from the way AIs play. So a great
she's also a computer scientist.
Natasha, I believe, is an actuary. So she works with so not a computer scientist, but it's also about like statistics and mathematical modeling and things like that.
Okay.
Perhaps not that far from it to some extent. But certainly, yes, a brilliant player, a brilliant games player, and also another amazing teammate. So I'm in many ways I'm outclassed, I guess I would say, on the team. Yeah, it's really really fun to play with them. And I think they've really enjoyed learning these new games as well. I have, and also it's been terrific having the various platforms that have hosted it, and for us to get a chance to also have Playstrategy, which we'll mention, host some of the games, which has been a new venture that came out of the pandemic, where we saw that there weren't that many really good sites for 2-player games, and so now I've started working on creating Playstrategy with James Heppel and with Matt Tucker, who isn't on the team. He doesn't play, but he's a very strong player and plays at the Mind Sports Olympiad. So Playstrategy is a great place to host also games, and that's very exciting. We'll keep adding to that. So thank you so much for using our site as a platform.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks
Thank
to
you.
Yeah, it's a really good place to play.
Mm-hmm.
And
talking about games.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
No, so speaking of which, what's your favorite game that you discovered during this event, or your least favorite?
Good question. I think I was listening to Andres's interview, and I think he didn't say he didn't like. He said that he didn't totally get, like, I think it was Ponte de Diavolo, right? Didn't totally feel the intuition there. I'm not sure. I don't think I necessarily did either in terms of like grasping how it works, but I really enjoyed it. Actually, I quite like it. It's a very simple.
Me too. Yeah.
Thing. Yeah. So that's really cool. And I've played a lot of really fun different games through this. Even it was interesting. Like I'm a chess player, but I haven't played much Chinese chess, and I got to play some Chinese chess recently. And now I've gotten quite interested in playing more, I have to say. So that's been quite fun. And in a way, it's interesting. I don't think there's any game that I like strongly dislike. They've all been interesting for me. Learning whether it's Hex or Havana, which is similar to Hex in some ways. So
the choice was not too bad.
No, no, you've chosen really good games, and yeah, it's fun. I mean, and also what's interesting is I've had to learn a lot of new things, and I'll be playing a few more rounds in the future, and I look forward to learning new games. I think that is the point. Like, obviously, yes, for sure, it's nice to be competitive to some extent, but I think this is more in a friendly atmosphere, and that's nice. So, but yeah, I definitely want to learn. Like Playstrategy. We've got Oware, which is a Moncala game, and I've actually never learned to play that. So
really,
which is, I'm ashamed to say, it's crazy. So I'm going to learn how to play it so that I can participate. So some of these rounds are it's an opportunity to basically dip my toes in the water.
Yes, sure. And you never know when organized the non-solo Go tournament, means not only Go tournament. It was something multi-abstract game tournament in Milan. It was between 2002 and 2006, and in 2005, I think we had the future Italian Go champion. The then Italian Go champion of Otello, that would become world Otello champion,
Wow.
Michele Borassi. Now he works in Zurich at Google, and he learned the game of Oware just before starting the game, and he won the tournament. So you can even do the same.
Well, I think I don't know if it's a claim to fame necessarily, but I remember in one of the early MSOs before I was an organizer, it was the first. Actually, it was the one where I wasn't even a volunteer. I think it was the first one I ever played in. I had learned lines of action the day before or something, or like it was certainly no more than that. And I played a little bit, and I guess I don't know, a lot of it kind of clicked with chess because it's quite similar in many ways to chess. And I was able to somehow scratch a get a bronze medal, which I did, which was crazy in my first moment. So it just goes to show sometimes, anything is possible, right? Like,
yes,
if something fits into, I guess, I don't know, the matrix of calculations that you've already got kind of toned, like, it's easier, right?
Yes.
You never know.
So maybe to conclude, the last question is about Mochalunt, what you like most, and if you have some either suggestions, ideas, or also something to tell about some special games that you had, that you played, some exciting things that happened, I don't know, whatever, about the tournament so far.
Some cool matches.
Sure. Well, first of all, I think it's interesting. It's I like how diverse it's been. In I think the first round we played against Somalia, which I know they're not playing anymore. But
Somaliland, yes.
Somaliland, thank you, Somaliland. And I ended up having a very nice match against someone who, I probably wouldn't have had the chance to play with otherwise. And I like the opportunity to mix and meet new people, and so that's been really nice. And like I said, learning new games has been great. There's nothing that I've really hated in terms of the games. They're all, I think, pretty basic in terms of learning the rules, difficult to master, obviously. But you've chosen very well there. I don't know, what else would I say?
I remember the match against Germany was very exciting because it was a draw, right?
That's right. That's right. And I think my match was also a draw there, I think, 2-2 as well. So
it's quite balanced, right? Because with all these different games, there's no one that really can master all four at the same time.
Yes, and also they also were having fun with it. It's not like people are training super hard, and they're just trying to learn to play and having fun. But yes, we do. I can say that Team England usually will do some practice sessions before the matches begin to become more acquainted and have a little bit of strategy. But
you do that together? You do that at the same time, the five of you, how do you?
Usually, people will like kind of email their availability, and then it'll usually be one-on-one, basically. So each time, two people will kind of match up and play some games. Usually, try and play all 4 games against each other. And you also get used to the interface. We're using a lot of different interfaces, right, as well. So I think that's quite cool. But it's been really, really enjoyable, and I've already said that you can count me in for next year as well. So
cool.
Whatever we can do also to support you. Obviously, we feature these interviews in our newsletter because we think also you're in the MSO newsletter. We think it's a great thing, and we're proud to be a part of it, and it is a great thing. So more power to you guys for organizing this, and clearly you both love games, and you've come at it with, I think, a really great attitude.
Thank you very much. And thank you also for your support through MSO and for the communication, etc.
I will say, by the way, and there's so many cool people and so many cool places, and I think I think it's really important to build stronger, I guess, cross gaming networks, you might call them, to some extent, because I think that's what kind of lacks out there in many ways. There's a lot of games that are very strong and will have international tournaments, things like that. but you don't really see that many organizations that are promoting cross gaming, which is what you're doing. That's what the Mind Sports Olympiad is doing, and I think that's I think it's a wonderful thing, and try and just like enrich that community and build all these different platforms. I think that's really important. So yeah.
And also people from different countries. I mean, I remember the MSO when I came for the first time 3 years ago. I met so many people from Spain, Estonia, France, and just so many new that became friends then. So it's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Excellent. Okay, so thank you very much. Good luck for England.
Thank you.
In the following the tournament.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks.
Hopefully,
I will be there.
Great.